Hey guys, welcome back to TacNTrack. I'm Brad.
And I'm Gil. Today we're talking about some of my favorite guns, revolvers. We got a couple of them here in front of me, and we're going to start with the Ruger New Vaquero. This particular one was purchased pre-owned. You could get them for about $600 pre-pandemic. Prices have gone up. Our first category is value. This one MSRP's for $1,019. And what do you get for that? You get a finely crafted firearm. This really is a nice gun. Of course, we have checked these for clear. You can just hear when you play with this gun how crisp everything inside the action works. This one's been slicked up just with a trigger kit, so it's a 1.875 pound trigger. Very, very good trigger in these, and I think the factory trigger was 3.5 pound. So we brought it down a little bit just because I had never had a revolver with a light trigger in it. I wanted to try it, and this is one of my favorite guns to go shooting with, although I won't say it's the one that I'm best with.
No, it's not the most accurate, and that $1,000 MSRP, that's a lot of money. Mm-hmm. To put that in perspective, I just recently bought a CZ 75 Shadow 2 in blue, and I got a really good deal on it, but I paid $1,000 for that.
And between the two, I'd definitely take that Shadow, although I love this so much. I just think if you're anywhere close to MSRP on this gun, I would pass on it. If you can get it in the $600 range, I think that's fantastic value. Because the finish on these really is great. I've polished this one a little bit. You can see it's very shiny, which does attract fingerprints, of course, but you get a lot for your money if you're paying $600 for it. I'm not so sure at that $1,000 price point. But this is one of those guns that you can have a lot of fun with, that is always going to be beautiful and just a fun thing to have.
And now when we talk about value, we often talk about resale, right? Because it's an important part of what is it going to be worth long term. And old single action revolvers have excellent long term resale and constantly increase in value. I don't know that you will see that with this. I mean, it is a excellent representation of a classic firearm.
Yeah.
But it's not a classic firearm.
That's absolutely right, and that does take away from its value a bit. So we're going to give it a value score of 2.1, and that's going to depend on all what you pay for it. But if you're paying anywhere close to MSRP, 2.1 is where we felt was fair because, well, it's just a lot of money for a 6-shot revolver that doesn't have any historical value.
Right. So one of the things that we always talk about when we rate firearms, we've got our 5 categories, is ease of use. I'm not a revolver guy. I've never shot single actions a whole lot ahead of this. And I'll tell you, it's fairly easy to use.
Oh, yes.
So you've got the loading gate right here on the side. Flip this open to load and unload from there. This is a pretty good hammer on it too. So when we're talking about, you'll see a video, we'll pop a video up on this guy right here, but this hammer's got roll positive engagement, really smooth, and there is a lot of simplicity here, right? Mm-hmm. When you talk about ease of use, you start getting into some more complicated firearms. This is anything but complicated.
No, it's very simple, and despite rumors going around right now, they won't just go off if you just kind of pull the hammer back a little bit.
Yeah,
they're not going to do that. That one's even got a transfer bar that keeps that from happening.
And I'll get you guys a close-up of the transfer bar picture edited in here for you guys. Talk to us a little bit about how this hammer differs and how it goes back from some of the other single actions out there.
Okay, so this one being a little bit more expensive weapon, I did expect for this one to perform a little bit better than, say, the Uberti Cimarron Stoger that we've got here on the table. This one engages real easily. You don't have to flick it down. You can simply pull it. Where something like this, if you don't pull it all the way back, and of course it does it first time, yeah, there you go. You got to really engage it back when you draw the hammer on this one. Whereas on this one, it's just a nice, simple, smooth pull back. So you definitely get what you pay for in this category, but if neither of them have a place in your heart, there's certainly better weapons out there. I still think this is going to be a great gun, and its ease of use. If you can operate any gun, you can operate this one. There's no safety on it at all.
Yeah, so I don't shoot revolvers. It's no secret that I haven't spent a whole lot of time around them. The only revolver I own is an ancient piece of World War I history that I don't shoot often. And I was able to pick this thing up and immediately know how to use it, be able to operate it, and have no issues running it whatsoever. So for a guy like me to be able to pick up something like this, no problems, no issues, very, very easy to use. So what score did we give it, Gil?
We gave this one a 4.2 out of 5, which is pretty high, but I think spot on.
So next up, we've got reliability.
What to say? It's a revolver. You load it, you shoot it. Some revolvers are sensitive to, if you like to fan them. This one apparently isn't, because it's been great every time we've taken it out. Never had a misfire. This one's got really tight lockup, so you can tell when you grab a revolver how tight tolerance it is by giving the cylinder a little wiggle. And this one has very little compared to, say, this barkeep, which is a piece of garbage that twists a lot on lockup. This one doesn't. And we haven't had any issues from the pawl. We haven't had any issues with the ejector rod. And this one's got a very smooth ejection rod when you're getting those shells out of there. Just a really well manufactured piece of metal here.
Yeah, so we gave it a reliability score of 4.5 out of 5. And if you guys have watched any of our other videos before, 4.5 is the highest score we will give without a 25 100 round count or higher. Until we've really run a gun through a lot of paces, we're not going to go any higher than that. And if we're going to go anywhere near a 5, we're going to probably put it through some pretty brutal testing, which we're not going to put something with a finish like this through a brutal enough testing phase to get much higher than that. So that's really, really quite high marks.
And it's hard to find 2,500 rounds of 357 right now, too. That will cost you an arm and a leg, so we probably won't be doing that anytime soon.
Unless somebody wants to donate, you want to donate 2,500 rounds of 357, we'll put it through it.
Yeah, we'll give you Brad's address. You can ship it right to him, right?
Sounds like
always
a plan.
good to have that out on the internet. Our next category is fun factor.
So I'm not a single action guy. I love shooting this thing.
Yeah,
it is a lot of fun. I think it'd be more fun if you could hit something with it, though.
I agree with you. We actually do shoot better with the cheaper one than we do with this one. That's for both of us. I don't know if I need to have the front blade shaved down or what it is. We haven't been shooting at paper to see exactly where we're hitting. So a little bit of work needed to do on this gun to make it a little more accurate, but for fun factor, I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to this kind of stuff. I've got a whole gun belt that I love wearing, and I can't imagine more fun than a revolver, and this is a particularly good revolver.
So one thing that I'd also like to point out in the fun factor category, it's low capacity.
Yeah.
Right? It would be a whole lot more fun if it was a belt-fed revolver, right? And you had 200 rounds in the belt.
Wouldn't be a revolver then, but I hear you. We could put a really big chamber in there.
Yeah. That would help a little bit with it. You do spend a fair amount of time when you're at the range reloading these, and there is no speed loading these.
There is no speed loading because you're having to eject and pop one in one at a time. There are guys that can do it very fast. It's still not quick, but with enough practice, I don't know, you got 6 shots of 357. Hopefully you don't have to reload in a real bad situation, but if you're down at the range, it will at least save you money because you'll spend a lot of time reloading it.
Yep, that's true.
So we're going to give it a fun factor score of 3.3 for the Ruger New Vaquero. So our 5th and final category for the Ruger New Vaquero is accuracy. And I gotta say, I'm a little disappointed with it. Every time we've taken it to the range, if we're shooting steel plates from, 10, 15 yards, you're gonna hit that every time. But on some of the smaller targets, Coke cans, stuff like that,
Dueling tree?
Dueling tree. Really not a great option with dueling tree.
No.
Being 6 shots for one and not being terribly accurate for the other. I'm sure that this puts down a decent grouping, but it ain't shooting where I think it's supposed to. So a little bit of work to do on this gun. Brad, what did you think?
So I'm really disappointed in the accuracy levels here, and I'm disappointed in the sights. Now the sights are what they're supposed to be, right?
Right.
This is the way the sights should look on this firearm.
Just a groove style.
Yeah, a groove with a front post there. I don't think that inherently lends itself to accuracy, and that's a long-barreled firearm.
That's 5.5 inch.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's roughly the same barrel length as my Desert Eagle.
Yeah.
Which is significantly more accurate. I really expected, especially Gil's done some trigger work on this one, and we've shot it before and after the trigger work. I really expected with a great trigger, a long barrel, a cartridge like the 357 that's an inherently accurate cartridge.
Right.
I really expected to be able to consistently hit the 50-yard plate.
Yeah.
I expected to possibly even be able to do like I do with the Desert Eagle and take it out and engage a 100-yard plate. While I didn't expect it to hit every time at those kind of ranges, I expected to get a 1 for 6 hit at 100 yards. I can't get a 1 for 6 at 50. It's a struggle, boss.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed by the accuracy, and I really think that's got something to do with that front blade sight. I'm sure if we pull out paper, we'll find that it puts down a decent grouping. I don't know where that grouping is going to be on the paper, but I think it probably is a very accurate firearm. Some are probably more accurate than others. Just depends on that front blade sight, really. A lot of guys do shave them down. I have not sent this off to anyone to look at or to slick up. Any work's been done by me, which I had never done before. Was pretty pleased just when the trigger worked. So as far as accuracy goes,
where'd you get the trigger?
Brownells, maybe.
Okay. Brownells has got great stuff, by the way, guys.
Yep. And it's a great little trigger. There are 2 different ways to do it. You can either buy a new spring or you can shave down the old one, take some metal out of it. I didn't like that approach. I wanted to have the original spring to put back in here if I ever needed to. So I just bought one. That being said, all that aside, accuracy score is going to be a 2.9 on this gun, which is fairly low for these revolvers. But I think it earned it. I really wasn't that impressed with it.
No, I wouldn't either, guys.
So that gives us an overall score for the Ruger New Vaquero of 3.4. Not too bad. No,
not too bad at all. And this is certainly fun to take out to the range.
Oh yeah.
There's a few things that could have been done better. Accuracy for one, and the other big elephant in the room is the price point, right? Yeah. It's a lot of money. At the $600 price point in which you picked it up a few years back, it's not such a bad deal.
No, I think it's a great deal at $600 just because of what it is. It's beautiful and shoots a high power load. It'll do 357 or 38 special. You can load it plus P, of course, if you want.
And it is a piece of iconic Americana, and that itself has some value. I mean, just it is a piece of what is American. With that being said, that doesn't necessarily lead to a great gun.
Sure.
But it does make it cool to own.
It does. Just don't point it at any movie directors.
Yeah, no directors. And great thing to enjoy, to shoot. That being said, I'm not going to carry it as a self-defense firearm.
No, and I did for a little while. It's a little big and heavy for that. I just wanted to carry it, but I was afraid I was going to get scratched up, so I went with something else. Anyways, we're going to have some video of us shooting this gun as well as some of these others that we'll throw up. Stay tuned to see videos on these other revolvers, which will be coming out shortly. Thanks for tuning in to TacNTrack. Be sure to like and subscribe.
Thanks, guys.
His favorite
in order
gun.
to shoot one of these properly, you must look like an idiot.
His favorite gun. There you go.
It doesn't hold 30?
Nope. But 4 out of 6, not bad. I'm glad you missed the last 2. I was starting to feel good. I mean, not great about it.
I think the hat helps.
Well, you look good as hell in it, so. Yeah, when you hit it, do this one. Well, there you go.